Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again, and welcome back to another well, not a movie review because this isn't a movie, but anyways, welcome back to another review. I could say TV review, or I'm just going to say review. This time I'm going to be reviewing Amazon Prime's new Fallout series, based on the popular Bethesda franchise that I am a fan of, actually, except for Fallout 76, but as far as I know, that game is actually starting to get a bit better from what I've been hearing. Like, people are starting to play it more. I know sales have been starting to go up ever since this show came out, and I know it's been a few weeks, but yeah, I'm finally going to talk about it. I just watched all 8 episodes, and now I'm ready to get my thoughts on it. So, of course, Fallout being an adaptation, of course, takes heavy inspiration from the worlds of the games like New Vegas 3, even Fallout 4, as we focus on our heroine Lucy, who is trying to rescue her father after being taken, and she goes out to the surface to meet up with a bunch of different people that may get in her way, or she might be able to befriend them to help her along her way. We also have focus on other characters that aren't part of that journey, as we focus on her brother that's left behind, and another character called Maximus, and of course we have fiends like the Ghoul. I didn't really know a whole lot of my impressions going into this because, while I know that it's gonna be big into like the Fallout universe, because, well, it's a Fallout show. It's called Fallout, and Bethesda is actually behind the show as well, which is actually pretty impressive. But it could be bad, it could be good. I thought it was great. With this and The Last of Us, I feel like there are TV show adaptations of popular video games that are really starting to put effort, though, of course, a lot of people really have not been liking the Halo series. I haven't seen that series, so I don't know a whole lot about that. But I do know one thing about this, is that it definitely feels like a Fallout show, and not just because Bethesda is behind it, but other people that definitely show that they're big fans of this franchise. Of course, this is all during the Bethesda era, and of course there were the original ones that came out for PC that Bethesda wasn't behind, but I feel like when it comes to Bethesda, the Bethesda era, they're the ones that are talked about the most. Fallout New Vegas gets talked about the most, and Fallout 4, while it has its fans, some people complain that it doesn't really feel like a Fallout game. I, for one, am a fan of Fallout 4, New Vegas, and Fallout 3, which is my personal favorite. And this show definitely does pay a lot of homage. And while there are a lot of Easter eggs and references that fans of the games are definitely going to recognize right away, it's not always just about references, but it actually does have an engaging story to tell. Like, it's not just about, Lucy has to go rescue her father, which I should probably mention. The characters are really spot on. Like, I really got hooked on with the characters and their stories. Not just Lucy, but Maximus. As Maximus plays a major part, like, I really liked when he was on screen, and it didn't bother me that it didn't focus on, our heroine that much. As when it comes to focusing on other characters, they each have their own storylines that I found very interesting. As, of course, when it came to the games, it was always just you and going on about your journey and doing specific quests. The fact that it cuts to other characters is really engaging, and I was really engaged. And when it comes to, the screen time that these characters have, I feel like it really pays off. It's a very well written show with very well done dialogue. And I honestly gotta say that, for a Fallout show, it looks outstanding. I was blown away. This looks like a Fallout show. It's like the costume design and the sets. I was blown away. Like, even when they go, like, when they're not in the vault, like when they're out on the land, I was visually impressed. Like, it shows they actually managed to take their time with this and actually make it look like a Fallout show and an adaptation, a recreation, a live action, like, yeah. But to me, it's not just the sets that make it a good show, that make it the fact that it manages to be so faithful to the show. I just feel like it manages to tell its narrative so well, because, while of course the gameplay is something that people are going to talk about in the Fallout series, the narratives are really where it's at when it comes to the games. And the way it's told here, I honestly find very engaging. No spoilers, but I feel like when it doesn't fall into the action, it manages to tell its story so well. And the action, by the way, yes, it is brutal. It is violent, way more violent than I thought. And there are often times where I kind of wanted to look away a bit because there are times where it can get quite gruesome, which is something I was really shocked by. Is because, yeah, this show definitely doesn't shy away from the violence. Even the weapons too have very familiar designs to them, just like in the games. I know I'm comparing this a lot to the games, but it does do some of its own stuff as well. But it shows that there was so much love put into this that I am going to compare this to the games because it references the games so well, and sometimes even creates certain lines that the previous games had, like a specific line that we all like to quote once in a while, which I'm not going to bring up. But yeah, and the music too, of course, they have some of the same songs that were used in the games, which I found very engaging and still managing to fit the tone very well. Even recreations of the game's own soundtrack that aren't licensed songs were also very well done here. In terms of criticisms I do have, when it came to some of the episodes, I do feel like they do last a little too long. Because there are often times where I feel like there are scenes that are a little bit too unnecessary. And of course, by the end of the season, we definitely do have some questions that we do want answers to. And when it came to the conclusion, it's well, I'm just hoping that there is another season because I would absolutely love to see this show go on. It kind of wraps up in a way that I wasn't like super satisfied with, but I kind of, at the same time, as long as there is another season, then I don't really feel like it will matter too much when it does get to that next season, if we do get it, because I really do want to see another season to this. But yeah, I don't want to give away way too much, but if you have Prime and if you're a fan of the franchise, and even if you're not, I feel like you should definitely check this one out. I had myself a blast with each episode. I was really engaged with the narrative, and I was just blown away by how much they captured the games beautifully, from its sets to the props that they used, to the costume design, like the armor set, like it was amazing. And none of the characters I felt like were irritating to see on screen. Like there wasn't a time where I was just waiting for a character that I actually liked to be on screen, because there were most of the characters, the villains, the heroes, it was all engaging. And the way it plays out, like you don't know entirely who to trust when you meet a new person, because anybody can do anything at any time. So it's completely unpredictable, and I absolutely love it for that. This is one of the best TV show, video game adaptations I've seen in quite a while. Same with The Last of Us, so I kind of like The Last of Us a little bit more because I'm a massive fan of that, and while I'm a fan of the Fallout series as well, The Last of Us, it was one of the first games I ever played, and it's one of my all-time favorites. But with this and The Last of Us, it shows that live-action TV show adaptations can be done right if given to the right people. And maybe some of the people that were behind the games were also part of the series as well. Honestly, I feel like it's a bit easier to make a video game show rather than a movie, because games, they can tend to be way longer than movies, depending on which game it is and which movie it is, because you would kind of have to cram all that stuff into a movie. But making it a show, yeah, I feel like that makes more sense. And with the amount of content that the games had, I feel like putting a lot of it into this, I feel like it manages to play out super well, and it definitely made me feel like I was watching like a Fallout theme, like a new Fallout game. Well, you pretty much get what I mean at this point. I thought this show was great, way better than I thought it would be, and I highly recommend it for fans and newcomers. It was honestly going to be a 4, just due to the fact that there were scenes that I felt like were a little bit unnecessary. I feel like my main gripe was just, when it came to the last episode of the first season, but still, I really hope we get season 2. This was truly a win for Amazon and Bethesda, and with the amount of people that are watching it, we might be getting season 2. And the fact that it's boosting up sales, I mean, Fallout 4 has a new update that's kind of not doing so well right now because it has issues, which, yeah, I'm not really surprised by. But In terms of the minor issues I had with this, it's still worth checking out. It shows there was a lot of time put in the show, and I'm not going to repeat myself anymore, so I just recommend checking it out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.